Alright, so welcome back into another Dragon Ball Super card game video, and this one we're going to talk about something that's been pretty popular lately, I feel like, and that's going to be the webcam events. And I know there's been some back and forth and some things about a lot of different topics, I guess, when it comes to the webcam events, but what I'm going to do today is basically make up for all of the stuff that I should have covered before in one whole video. And of course, there's going to be timestamps below, but it's going to be including, you know, what they are, what the format is, the previous events, who won them, a couple other different things and my thoughts on them. And of course, I'm going to throw in, you know, my suggested way of doing the webcam events and what to do when participating in them. Or yeah, I said that right? Of course. For anything in below, or for anything that I talk about in the video itself, it's going to be in the description below as far as like products and the Discord. Subscribe if you're new. Okay, let's just get into it. So the first thing to kind of talk about is, what are they? And I only bring this up because there have been changes between, you know, the last couple months and now, I would say, which is the 25th, as of this recording. You're probably going to be watching on the 26th, but if anything, the format so far have all been best of one. The only event that wasn't was the best of three for the finals, which in retrospect wasn't all that great. I participated in it, and even the TOs were saying, like, you know, I don't think we're going to be doing this in the future because it just was too time consuming. It was too much. When it comes to like actual webcam events. It's definitely different when it comes to a physical in-person event to webcam online with everybody's issues and everybody's setup and everybody's reporting and all this other stuff. Best of one is probably the best choice, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit later. But you do have about 30 to 40 minutes or so with overtime. Usually it's turns 1 to 3 or 0 to 3, and with 10 more minutes. You usually submit your deck via a Google form or some other way, like some other link, whatever, online. And you do have to have your physical deck required. No untap has been allowed since, I think, Gen Con. I could be wrong on that. The last time that it was actually allowed was then, I want to say. And we do have to have a webcam. Obviously, it's in the name, or any other sort of camera. I'll kind of get into that a little bit later. Obviously, I use this camera because it's just a little bit easier for me, and I still have my Logitech webcam, which I'll show you in a little bit. And of course, Discord is required, and the reason for that is because you do have your real name, and then you also have your Discord name, which is tied to like the actual event or the actual like player, right? So like, let's say you see me, Android, versus, you know, Couscous, right? And you would see that on the list, and sometimes it won't show your first name or your full name, I should say. So that way you actually can tie it to that table and to the actual Discord, and you can actually tag them because usually they don't have, you know, a regular person won't have their full name as their username on Discord. So all very standard. It's tied to pretty much everything. Most TOs have their online submission, and then they have a separate thing like Best Coast Pairings or R9K, whatever it may be, for the tournament thing. So you can kind of suspect that, you know, you're going to have some separate, usually organized order when it comes to that. And then when it comes to the pricing, so in September, from what I understand, which both of these pricings could change, which I have top 16 somewhere, but I'll just talk about that. It could change, and it could vary for every event, but this is kind of what I've seen from going through every single event for the last month or two. And what the standard is. In September, we have the participation packs from 1 to 5, 2020 champ packs. This is a volume 2, the newer ones with cooler and all the other ones. Event pack 6, with that, 3 of them, which does include the draw ape, which all the other ones from the TOP arena and the other ones that I am drawing a blank at this point are included in that. And it's nice to keep giving those out because the draw ape should go down in price and as well as go up in availability, but different topic, I suppose. And then top 4 and slash winners get 3 more 2020 champ packs, and of course a winner playmat, which I think is the Boo last time I checked. Now in October it changed, which I do believe DBS Dex and CM and maybe another event kind of, I think TAC all revealed that the participation is going to be different, in which you do get a champ pack with that, 2 event packs, and then 3 of these alternate art silver lining or silver foil sets, and then 2 token packs. So if you look here, we have the Power Burst alternate art, we have the Bobbity, we have the Zarbon, which is very sought after. I'm still on the board of why did they choose Caulifla for Power Burst, but it's whatever, I guess. And then we also have the tokens at the bottom, which honestly, tokens I feel like is sort of like an unknown need, right? So like you can bust out any tokens, and I feel like these are just nice to have as far as an official capacity. And then when you look at, I think for top cut events for the last one that we just had this last weekend, we had the top 16 get 1 or 2 more Champ Pack 2020s, 2 more event packs, and then 2 more of a set of 3, which I think the alt silver packs, the alt art gold packs or gold stamp pack, but and then also the eligibility to play in the December online finals, which in September was for the October finals for the top 16 as well, from what I remember, either top 8 or top 16. And then Champion has the gold stamp unison card set, not the battle card set, but the unison card set, which I didn't take a look at. I do believe is the Mechiabora and as well as the Lord Slug. If I can find it, I'll put it on the screen. If not, then you can just look it up. And then 2 more token packs, and then 2 of the tournament pack. So TP TP what 11 or yeah TP 11. So the ones with the Zarbons, the ones with the Broly, the ones with the, well, nope, I'm wrong, the one with the Broly, the one with the the ape, the Goku dual attacker, all those are all included in the TP 11. So it's nice to see those kind of reprinted, and nice to have those again increase the availability. What do I think about the pricing for these? It's okay. I feel like there are opinions of people dropping the third round, which I am guilty of that. If I go worse than X1, or if I go X1, I usually drop because I'm like, I don't feel like playing the rest of it if I'm going to be playing with a loss. And honestly, I think Bandai pushing more reprints for the Zarbon and as well as TP packs is more a good incentive, I would say, and is really good as far as a move for them. And then the Power Burst Alta art is quite nice. I mean, it's Caulifla, but it's nice to see some more collector stuff and some more go-gets. And of course, they're all going to be pretty exclusive, I would say, because these are they may change in the next month, because they changed in September and then they go into October, and now November, December, we don't even know what that looks like unless these go through all of those months and I missed it. But if anything, that's kind of where we are right now. Let me talk about who has won them or what has won them. So I believe I forget the names of everybody, so I apologize. I'll mention it if I can. So September 5th, I do remember, and of course, if I get any of these wrong, just let me know in the comments below and I'll correct them as far as the dates and who won them. So again, they're all best of one except for the October 17th finals, which was best of 3, which was Cell Surge. I don't think any of them had top cut. I think they're all Swiss, by the way. I didn't mention it in the previous one, but I did have it on the screen. We had Invoker in September 5th, Pilaf, which was both of those were kind of small, I want to say though those are kind of small. I think September 26th were pretty small too. All the other October ones were like 100 plus, I want to say. Wait, maybe I got those mixed up. I think September 26th was 100 plus. 17th with the finals was kind of small because we only had like 40 plus people, maybe. Not even that. It was all the people from the top 8, top 16 from the previous events and the webcam events to this one. And then, of course, the last 2 had Reboot Gohan. But Pilaf, Vegex, Cell Surge was best of 3, and then Reboot Gohan for back-to-back wins by Ali. And I do believe Pilaf was Robert Reitz, I want to say. Either way, very interesting to see as far as the climate of it. And you know, that kind of brings us to like you know, are these real events? And I feel like that's something people kind of argue over and over again. To me, yes, they are real events with an asterisk, and that asterisk is the format and the contextual thing for these events, right? So you have to consider a number of things, right? So one, it's a best of one. So every single previous real event, or regional, I should say, were best of 3 with a top cut. So when you're when you're really thinking about and putting it all together for this, webcam events are very, very easy to access as long as you have a camera and a setup for that, like a space for that, which again I'll go through in a little bit. It's very easy. You just pay $20, you go into it, you get your pricing after 3 rounds, you're good, right? And a lot of people with the accessibility of things just kind of want to do that, right? And the other part of it is with best of one, the format completely changes, right? There's only been a couple handful, I think like maybe 2 events. Shout out to John Mendoza, previous team member, with the regional win for Reboot Gohan, right? And that's a really good example of like what's really good in best of 3 versus best of 1, right? So when you're considering all the things for best of 3, you're considering the sideboard, you're considering the matchup knowledge and a matchup spread. You're considering a consistency for your deck as well, and considering road decks as well. So best of 1 has a lot of road decks, has a lot of different people, a lot of different casual people putting in their fun decks, and a lot of different things that you can't really side for. Like if you want to side for aggro, you can't really do that. You can't put more counters. You can't side for hand destruction. You can't side for invoker, etc. Right? So all these things kind of factor into that. And the other thing is, of course, the people who think that there could be some cheating. And honestly, I mean, it very well could happen. Like let's say this was my hand and I had 3 Frieza and 2 of these Gokus, right? And honestly, someone does their turn, etc., and they look away, or they're trying to count their cards or whatever, and then come up with 2 other new cards. You didn't even see it on screen. There you go. There's 2 more cells, whatever it may be. That's one example in which someone can drop something and then they can pick up their cells, miraculously, or their secret, or their engine piece, or a counter, or anything, right? These are all kind of the things that people worry about when it comes to the online events. And honestly, I think they're merited, right? There's only certain things that you can kind of control when it comes to online events, either on Untap, which even Untap is a little bit better because it has a log of everything that you do. And with webcam events, there's not judges walking around. There's not 2 people right by each other watching another person do another thing. You can't have a second witness. There's not really a 24/7 guaranteed 100% uptime for their webcam, as in it could get disconnected. It could be whatever. You can have someone right behind their camera looking at their game and maybe typing to that other person, which you can't even see, and coaching them throughout that whole time. And these are all very, 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 very valid points and things that you can't really argue because they can happen. But what I will say is that in my experience from the 3 events that I've played so far, technically 4, counting Untap, I guess, all those events that I played in, I've never really had that issue. Yes, there's some times where even myself, I can't even show my hand every single time because naturally I kind of want to keep it close to myself. And other times your hand can show on the camera, right? So it's kind of this hard battle of just making sure that you're not cheating yourself accidentally and the opponent's not cheating, and then having that awkward moment and calling a judge and be like, I think you did this, but then no one records it, which I recommend to record all of your webcam events or your progress. That's just me. I can go on all day as far as that stuff goes, but I think, yes, they're real events to a certain extent, and that extent is best of 1, and hopefully having an honor system of saying people won't cheat or won't do anything malicious. And again, in my experience and from what I've seen, it hasn't been that bad, right? It hasn't been an issue for me, and there have been issues for others in some shape or fashion, basically. And I will say I've had one bad experience, and honestly, that was completely different, and I feel like that's something different and separate. And that really kind of brings me to my next thing, which was the Marcus situation. So if you didn't keep up, the long story short was that Marcus Cantarsi, Mr. Couscous himself, very, very well known. He's my dude, and I always will support him. And he was streaming his match basically, the long story short, if you haven't seen the post, I'll put in the link below. If you haven't seen this, there's a bit of a the first part of the both posts that came out to it. Top Cut was running the last weekend's event. Marcus submitted his results twice, got a loss afterwards, and then got a double loss, as in the person he got a loss, and the person he played it got a loss as well. And then during that time, if you watch the stream, which I'll put the link in below, around 1 hour and 54 seconds, I do believe, you can kind of see everything fall into place there and what happened and what transpired as well. Again, long story short, it seemed that he forgot to post his results 50 seconds late, right? And that's kind of annoying because it's a webcam event, and you should kind of, like, yes, there is 20 minutes, and yes, I will get on Marcus. I do agree. Like, I already put my post. I'm not going to go into that. I put it on the screen here, but I will get on Marcus to say, like, you got 20-something minutes. You got a lot of time to submit your results. But as a company, as a TO, as whatever, your customer is the people who are playing for your event, right? So if I was running a business, I will do everything for that customer, regardless of the rules. And if you want to be that business, or if you want to be that PO to say, no, these are the rules, this is final, this is it, then that's okay. You know, that's not that big of a deal. You are just going to be known to do that. You're just going to be known to have that as an event. And some people will like that as a professional manner. Other people may not like that, as in, you know, bending the rules, or at least being a little more lenient, or you know, just looking out for a player, right? You know, I think as a controversial statement is to keep that same energy, right? Keep that same energy when it comes to your own events. And this is not to Top Cut itself. I've heard nothing good about them. I played in one of their events before. There's nothing bad about this, but keep that same energy when it comes to your events. This is for all other TOs. If you're going to be saying this and saying, hey, he was 50 seconds late, we had a mistake and should have just dropped him, that's okay. You know, that's all right. Keep that same energy for yourself in saying you should not be 50 seconds late for your own event. You should not be 50 seconds late for the next round. You should not be 50 seconds late for every single 7 rounds that you have it. And the player base should keep that expectation for the TO and making sure that that doesn't happen, right? Because if we're having that expectation for ourselves, that's okay. Drop me, do whatever you need to do. That's fine. But we should have that expectation for the TO. That's my say on it, but whatever. If you want to look into it, that's okay. But the reason why I bring this up is because, you know, we're in uncharted territory as this young game is going. Well, the reason why I bring this up is because we're kind of in this uncharted territory for webcam events and online events, because, you know, DBS is still a young game, and we've never done this before. We've never been in this situation before, and yes, in September we have a little bit of time to learn, and Benna has a little bit of time to learn, you know, what to do and how to do it. And going into these next few months, and even the next 6 months, depending on the situation for real events or in-person events, in which we're gonna have to, you know, deal with it and make it the best that we can. That's all I can really say. And hopefully the TOs kind of learn from this. That's all I can kind of say from it. Either way, let me know what you think in the thoughts. I kind of rambled on for that, which I apologize. I'm really trying not to do that, but whatever. Okay, that kind of brings me to the suggested webcam setup. So just real quick, if my webcam setup, I don't know if I think I'll be able to show it, but my webcam setup is my actual camera. It's hooked up to a tripod. It's my Lumix G7 with a lens and a mic and all the other stuff. You don't really need all that, but I just put it down and I just connected to Discord with my Elgato. That's all it is, right? Alternatively, I do also have my Logitech, which I'm showing right now. If you want this camera, I'll put the name of it in a second, but this is kind of how it looks like. Obviously a lot different from my actual camera. All right, moving on to like the actual setup. I put it on a table or my computer desk, whatever you have more room for to actually play cards on. That's probably what I suggest. And then basically what you could do is, if you already have a webcam or if you plan to get one, whichever it is, you can have a mount clamp. Basically, you can put it on the bottom of your desk and then just kind of maneuver it for wherever your section of your desk is, and then just overhead it basically. And then the other one is kind of like this little, like this is a gooseneck which is like flexible, and this one is what I have for the mic, which this is not exactly what I have for the mic, but it's basically a similar thing, which it kind of clamps with this little twisty thing at the bottom, and then you can kind of swivel it as you go, right? So I don't know if you can't see it from here, but that's basically what it does. And then of course the last resort is your phone, in which most people already have a phone, and you can just kind of put like a little gooseneck to your actual device. So like my phone here, you can just gooseneck it and then put it overhead with a front-facing camera or the back-facing camera, whatever has a better, wider angle. And I'll put a screenshot here in which it will show what it looks like in video. I can't actually record it because I don't know, my phone's stupid, but that's how it looks in Discord. And then of course the suggested webcam itself is my webcam that I just showed you. What I will say for Logitech cameras, and as well as other popular cameras that have kind of been overpricing due to the shortage, I got this for probably less than 80 bucks, maybe 90 beforehand. And I only did it because I work from home for a while, and a lot of people are going to be in my same situation in which you have a webcam for work at home. And the other part of it is that the video that the setup that I sent, or that I did for the set 7, I want to say set 7, set 8, one of those. It was a very popular webcam series that I did for locals, in which it was for the box tournament. So that's another test for the quality of that camera, and it is also widescreen. So if you're going to be getting a webcam, I highly suggest that you get a widescreen or something with a very wide field of view, and you can do your own research for that. But this is what I suggest for that. Really, really good. Honestly, you don't have to invest so much money in it. If you already have a cell phone, just use that. Connect your Discord to your mic on your computer, and then just use your cell phone connected to that. The only issue, however, is that you might have like 2 different devices or 2 different Discord usernames, one for the camera, one for your cell phone. So these are all things that you kind of have to work out for that. The easiest way is just to use a webcam connected to your computer, connected to Discord, and then have it set up just like I was saying, mounted up on a tripod or mounted up on a thingamajig, a gooseneck. There you go. One other thing I should also suggest is that yes, you have this little thing that goes on a computer, but if you have this little thing, a 3.5 millimeter, I think, tripod mount, you can also just use your tripods or any kind of goosenecks for that. I'm just gonna put this down because I just messed it up. And then, ironically, Yu-Gi-Oh! Also has a pretty good remote duel guide, which I'll put in the link below as well. And you can kind of take a look at that as far as what webcam, how to set it up, and what they suggest. Obviously, you can kind of replace some of the vernacular, and as well as the guidance for DPS itself. Okay, let's talk about the future of webcam events. Honestly, there's a lot of uncertainty and a little bit of a split of a community when it comes to if it's a real event, or what do we do? Do we take them seriously? Do we think they're casual, etc.? And who are the player base, or who's the player base playing in these if they're not the regular top cut players that we usually see in-person events? And honestly, that's going to be the community to decide, and it's also going to be you to decide what you want out of these events if you just want to have fun. And honestly, for me, I just want to play physical cards, and I just want to have fun, and I want to have the option to drop whenever I want to, which I do. So I'm happy about that, which technically if you want prizing, you need 3 rounds, but whatever. I think people should be as constructive as they can and in the best way possible for every kind of webcam events. I think people should also put the reviews in as well as their testimonies for any kind of TO and any kind of event online, so that way we can kind of grow when it comes to making these better and making sure that everybody is satisfied. And then lastly, what I would play for the next event for best of 1 is probably the one that is on my screen. I talked about it in the podcast on Friday. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. Shout out to Aspira to join us in that podcast. More on that later. But then also the fact that this is super, super good. Honestly, I just like in every best of 1 game that I've played so far, it's just been super good. You just heartfelt, you just do a lot of cool things with skillless stuff, and you use the feisty chi, thin out your deck, and you kill them on turn 3. That's all you really need to do. You either die or you kill them on turn 3. And of course, I have a bunch of other decks that, you know, would be fun for best of 1. But if you really want to, you know, take some rounds, take some wins, this is probably going to be the deck for it. Other than that, I've rambled enough, and just let me know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe if you are new. Like, dislike, all that other stuff. I'll see ya.